Hello, welcome. I'm Diane Chaplin. I am doing a live stream on a Monday instead of the first Tuesday of the month for June and July. And whether you watch this live streams live as they're happening or whether you catch them in reruns, I'm super grateful to you for watching. Today's program is called Trees for the Forest. I'm going to play some music for cello that references trees, including a world premiere and also some readings about nature. But first, I'm going to start with a piece by the cellist and composer Paul Brantley. This piece is called Arbor, I'm thinking of it in the essence, not like a grape arbor, which is a kind of a covering archway kind of thing, but rather the Latin derivation of the word arbor, as we find in arboretum and arborist. This is Arbor by Paul Brantley. That was Arbor by Paul Brantley. Paul lives in New York. And actually, all four pieces on today's concert are by living composers. That's not always the case. The next piece is by Sally Beamish, who is a British composer. She lives in London. She's a very, very excellent violist, has played with a lot of very renowned ensembles in England and elsewhere, and now does a lot of composing. I know she's writing a ballet right now. She's written a lot of different kinds of things, and her music references sometimes jazz, sometimes Scottish traditional music, just kind of a wide variety of different things. This piece was written in 2020. It is called Maple, like the tree, and it is intended to be played with readings interspersed by the artist John Newling, John Newling, who wrote these kind of poetic letters to nature called Dear Nature. He has this big collection of it. And so the piece itself is 8 short movements which describe the life of the maple tree. I will tell you the name of the movement as you go, and you'll sort of see this progression. The first movement is seed, and the music has just 5 notes in it, sort of the seed of music. And then the music develops when we do the spinning seeds, which are the propeller kind of seeds that fly down to the ground. The music goes down to the ground. So this is a little bit of a description in the music about the maple and its life. And then I have chosen freely from these writings of John Newling. So these are not specifically the writings that Sally Beamish intended to go between the movements, but I tried to pick ones that spoke to me and seemed to have a progression as well. So this is Maple by Sally Beamish with readings by John Newling. Dear nature, I'm sure many of my species have stood and looked at your landscapes and breathed deeply, reflecting on beauty. Such slow, quiet moments are a vital principle in our well-being. Some would call this a spiritual right. Spirituality is necessarily ambiguous. The ambiguity allows a freedom for all in what they sense as spiritual. For many, gazing at your landscapes and experiencing your phenomena are acts of sacred reflection. We can feel tiny within the world whilst simultaneously feeling a vital connection to it. We sense that we are needed in that connection. Being needed for something is important for all of us. We express this necessity in many parts of our lives. In truth, we know you do not need us, but we do need you. Whilst what we have done to you is terrible, it may be that in our struggle to try to coexist with you, we find that need. We are at least talking. Yours, John. Seed. Dear nature, we have changed the climate. We are under the weather. We have changed our climate. We are under our weather. Yours, John. Spinning seed. Dear nature, we have been lovers. We made deities from your wonders. We worshipped you, laid our fears at your feet. We thought that we needed you to need us. But wasn't that just some way of seeking control? Maybe we find it hard to accept that you are the most powerful and complex set of relationships that we can encounter. Perhaps we got jealous of all your other affairs. In our rush to evolve, in our fights and flights, we have got lost among our own conceits, spinning such a terrible storm. I am sorry. What to do? Yours, John. Roots, shoots. Dear nature, a lament. We were lovers. Your unknowns folded us in fear and wonder. We signed our names in your soils, lost in our clearing and clearings. Our shadows alone touched you, trying to find where here is. Wanting here to be elsewhere, we became estranged. I am sorry, but perhaps we are moving towards knowing what here means. Yours, John. Leaves. Dear nature, do you have a sense of value in all your complexity? We humans use the word value a lot. Mostly we are referring to the value of money. We exchange things for money. We are enthusiastic for ownership of many things. We can own land. We can buy and own a forest or a mountain or most things in your dominion. This is an individual ownership that can and does exclude others. How strange. I suppose there are similar territorial borders with other species. It just feels like with us that we're in danger of not seeing the woods for the money. We have forgotten where we are. Yours, John. Flowers. Dear landowner, I have recently been chatting to nature. I was wondering if you couldn't see the woods for the money. Hope you can see the woods. Yours, John. Tree. Dear nature, I have always loved the unknowns of you. But can we ever truly be together? Yours, John. Autumn. Dear nature, You are probably getting fed up of all this mail. I think I write them to clarify my thoughts, to try to understand my relationship within you. We have had a shrinking ecology of values. Money is embedded in our private singular worlds as the core aspirant, a measure of survival. Meshing this value with our evolutionary traits has been a disaster for our relationship within you. I think I can only say that the terrible gap between us and you is beginning to shrink as more and more of us do try to understand the importance of you. But it remains a precarious balance. Yours, John. Cello. That was Maple by composer Sally Beamish, with readings Dear Nature by John Newling. I did want to mention that the back of the cello is made out of maple, and that's why the last movement was cello. I'm going to continue with a piece called Gray Tree. If you saw the picture at the beginning of the concert or any of the publicity, and I will also post it at the very end of the program, that picture is called Gray Tree. It's a work by Mondrian, which was painted in 1911, and it's a sort of stark gray tree. This is a work by a young composer, very young composer named Aidan Vass. He wrote this piece in 2020, so already 3 years ago, and he's only 20 years old now. He is studying at the USC Thornton School of Music, and I think that he is a very talented up-and-coming young composer. I will read to you what he wrote about the work. Gray Tree represents the need to grow and adapt to an ever-changing environment. It embodies the spirit of youth and possibility, reminding the listener, performer, that even in times of great disappointment and challenge, there can be beauty in the adaptation. This is Gray Tree by Aidan Vass. I'm going to tune my cello first. Hold on.
That was Gray Tree by Aidan Vass. So now the final piece on the program, the longest piece on the program, is a world premiere of the 6th Suite for solo cello by Stephen Brown. He is a Canadian composer currently living in Victoria, BC, so kind of directly north of me here in Portland, Oregon. This is a piece that was written in 2013. It has a subtitle called Flowers of the Forest. And Flowers of the Forest is a very, very old tune. I think it was written in the early 1600s, but the words commemorate a battle in the early 1500s where the Scottish army was defeated. So this is it's a Scottish folk tune with kind of war poetry idea, but it's very much a lament because it's a commemoration of this terrible battle where many people died. And so nowadays it's generally played on the great Highland pipes, the bagpipes. And because of the nature of this horrible defeat and many people dying, it is considered only appropriate to play at funerals. So bagpipers don't play it in public unless it is in a situation, a memorial service or a funeral. It was played for Queen Elizabeth's funeral twice, actually, in 2 different parts, because her funeral went on for a few days. It was played a couple different times. It is the official lament of the Canadian Armed Forces. And as Stephen Brown is a Canadian, he kind of references that in his version of it. The piece appears in 2 of the 4 movements of this suite.
the first movement and the last movement, which are both laments. So the first movement is called First Lament, and the last one is called Second Lament. And you will hear this sad tune. It's very interesting the way the composer has set it for cello, because he uses a lot of harmonics, which are these very high sounds that we make by pressing very lightly on the string. And so that's used really throughout this first movement and the lament at the end. The four movements are first movement and maggot. And the maggot, I don't know if I need to pronounce that with more of a Scottish accent or not, is a very kind of lilting dance. Definitely a folk dance, folk tune. The second movement is called a planxty, which is an Irish tune. In this case, the composer has set it sort of almost like a saraband in the suite, which is the slow movement of the suite. Very beautiful. The third movement is kind of a triple movement, 3 dances, 3 Scottish, if you will, dances, a jig, a reel, and a slip jig. So that's the name of that movement, jig, reel, slip jig. And then the last movement is called Second Lament. So I'm really pleased to be able to present this as a world premiere. When I first found it, I did not realize it hadn't been performed. And Stephen and I, as we communicated online, he said, oh, this is going to be the first performance. So I know that he's watching and some of his fans are watching. This is the world premiere of Stephen Brown's Suite Number 6 for solo cello, Flowers of the Forest.
That was the suite number 6 for solo cello, Flowers of the Forest by Stephen Brown, Canadian composer. And we come to the end of this concert. I'm going to do a Monday concert again in July because the first Tuesday of July is July 4th, and I figure you're all out watching fireworks. So instead, I'm going to do that program, which is an Americana program, kind of for the 4th of July. I'm going to do it on Monday, July 3rd. But remember, you can always watch these broadcasts anytime afterwards. And I'm super, super, super appreciative for you watching because that gives me the impetus to keep practicing and learning new music. I'm going to take a pic at the comments. What's the word I'm looking for? Comments. Hi, all my friends. Thank you so much. Oh, good. I know that a variety of composers I see Paul Brantley checked in and said hi, and I know Stephen Brown's going to be watching, and Aidan Vass said he would look also. So thank you so much, composers, for writing this fabulous music, and I'll see you next month. Bye.